Awaken Israel.
Shalom, everybody.
Shalom.
Shalom, shalom.
Shalom.
Are we on?
Oh, y'all.
All right, cool. All right, well, we're gonna get right to it. We're gonna try to get through a lot tonight. We're gonna try to do a lot in Acts, so we can soon bring the study of the book of Acts to an end. We're gonna start with Acts 23 tonight. Where we left off is, Paul going back to Jerusalem. He's been traveling around to these different assemblies and establishing the truth in these different assemblies in different parts of the world, and getting the not just the scattered Jews, but also the scattered Israelites called Gentiles, but they're actually scattered Israelites that are of the northern kingdom as well, to understand that they are welcomed back into the family according to Yahushua, because his will is that the whole family of Israel be gathered together again. That is the Great Commission. So at this point, Paul has the driving desire to go back to Jerusalem, even though he's been warned many, many times that he's going to face a lot of persecution, beatings, jail, and everything else if he heads back to Jerusalem with his own people. But he desired to do so anyway, and as all of those warnings came, telling him what was going to happen, those very things did happen. He did, face violence, and at this present time in our reading, he is locked up, and he's beginning trial for these accusations that the Jews are hurling against him. So we're gonna go ahead and get started in Acts 23. Acts 23. All right, so let's get some readers, and like I said, we're gonna go. Let me share my screen. Oops, let me adjust this. Can y'all see my screen okay?
Yo.
All right, push this up just a little bit. All right, well, whoever wants to get it, let's go.
I'll read.
23:1. All right, cool.
Acts 23:1. And Paul, earnestly beholding the council, said, Men and brethren, I have lived in all good conscience before Yahweh until this day.
Mm-hmm.
And the high priest
Ananias
commanded them that stood by him to smite him on the mouth.
So off the jump, I'm telling man, these Jews, man, they play dirty. So Ananias is the high priest, and Paul is just opening up his defense against him. Well, he's already said some other things, but he's opening up a defense against him, but for himself, because again, right now he is basically in court, and he's just beginning to talk, and the high priest Ananias said, "Smack that dude in the mouth." Smite him in the mouth off the jump. So again, he's facing a lot of violence from his own people. All right, 23:3.
Acts 23:3. Then Paul said unto him, God shall smite thee, thou whited wall, for sittest thou to judge me after the law, and commandest me to be smitten contrary to the law.
So Paul, of course, is striking back like, hold up, man, you supposed to be well, we're gonna see what this means. Whited wall. Does anybody know what whited wall means? That's a little bit of an unusual, not a term that we use today, but let's take a look. Whited wall, just using the blue letter here, whited. Let's see what it says for whited. Says to cover with lime, plaster, or plaster over, to whitewash. And this is really what it's getting. Well, it's going to get really what it's getting at is B. But it says the Jews were accustomed to whitewash the entrances to their sepulchres as a warning against defilement by touching them, because you're not supposed to be dealing with dead bodies, basically. So the whitewashing was, covering these things with lime to kind of block touching anything dead and defiling. and being unclean until the evening. But what Paul is referring to is more so this one. B, it says, a term applied to a hypocrite who conceals his malice under an outward assumption of piety. So that's the high priest. He's trying to pretend like he's holy and this and that, but he's really a hypocrite, which is what Paul gets at with his statement. It says, Yah shall shake, says, then said Paul unto him, Yah shall smite thee, thou whited wall, which is basically like thou hypocrite. For sittest thou to judge me after the law, and commandest me to be smitten contrary to the law? So you're supposed to be judging me according to the law, but now you're going to tell somebody to break the law in order to hit me. You're telling them to do something that's against the law. So again, that's the hypocrite aspect of it. So go ahead, 23 and 4. Who has 23 and 4?
Okay.
My bad. My thing wasn't loading. Acts 23 and 4. And they that stood by said, revilest thou God's high priest?
Revilest thou God's high priest? Because that's the man that basically represents Yah, to the people. So it's a big offense to go against the high priest. So let's see what Paul says.
Then said Paul, I wist not, brethren, that he was the high priest, for it is written, thou shalt not speak evil of the ruler of thy people.
Like, man, I wish this dude wasn't the high priest. That's basically what that means. I wish he wasn't the high priest. This dude is wicked. All right, 23. I'm sorry, 23 to 6.
But when Paul perceived that the one part were Sadducees. Okay, and the other Pharisees, he cried out in the council, men and brethren, I am a Pharisee, the son of a Pharisee. Of the hope and resurrection of the dead, I am called in question.
All right, so yeah, we're going to see what he's doing here. And let's 20 and 7.
And when he has so said, there arose a dissension between the Pharisee and the Sadducee, and the multitude was divided.
So what we're going to see is basically what's happening is we know Paul is major league intelligent. So right now he's really playing the crowd. He's kind of playing the crowd against each other, and they're all against him, unfortunately. But he's playing against each other. So he's basically like skillfully defending himself, seeing who was in the audience. Excuse me. And what you're going to see is that it's similar to today, where we have different camps and assemblies that know that they're Israelites, yet they believe different things. They have different core beliefs. And that same situation was happening in Paul's day and Yahushua day. It was the same thing. So like I said, we see a lot of things. If we're able to really think about the things that were going on in the Bible, we'll see that most of these things are actually still happening right now, because we are still under the curses, just as they were under the curses. Our ancestors, that is, were under curses then. Most of that crowd, we see that they're split between Pharisees and Sadducees. So is it good to be a Pharisee?
No.
Is it good to be a Pharisee? You said no?
No, believe.
Okay. Paul said he was a Pharisee. What about a Sadducee? Is it good to be a Sadducee?
Is it these?
This is all good, man. Look, we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out what's going on with the Sadducees and the Pharisees. Let's see here. Let's actually, we're gonna read that next line. It'll give us a little bit. Let me get back to it. 23 and 8. So I read 23 and 7, and whoever was reading can continue. 23 and 7 says, and when he had so said, there arose a dissension between the Pharisees and the Sadducees, and the multitude was divided. 23 and 8.
Acts 23:8. For the Sadducees say that there is no resurrection, neither angel nor spirit, but the Pharisee confessed both.
Okay, so that's basically what the difference is between the Sadducees. So again, it's literally they all know that they're Israelites, but they have different structures in their belief. And again, just like right now, we have a whole lot of things that have gone awry, gone astray over the course of the years, that go completely away from what's in the scriptures and what Yah has told our people. And even then, as it is still right now, there's a lot of differences between core beliefs, so much that brothers and sisters are even fighting each other. That's the same thing that happens here, because we see that there was a dissension that rose up between them, and the multitude was divided. The whole crowd was divided. But let's find out a little bit more about these Pharisees and Sadducees. Let's see what the blue letter says. Let's see, Pharisees. Okay. See what the Pharisees believed, even though we got like a little short summary. All right. Let's see. Who wants to take this? That might make it a little too dark. This is Pharisees, according to the blue letter dictionary, basically. You see Pharisee. It says a sect that seems to have started after the Jewish exile. In addition to Old Testament books, the Pharisees recognized an oral tradition, not the law, an oral tradition, an in oral tradition, a standard of belief and life. So their basis is, again, tradition of men. And if we recall correctly, that's what Yahushua was getting on them about, because they were focused on traditions of men instead of the actual law, statutes, and commandments and judgments. So the Pharisees recognized in oral tradition a standard of belief and life. They sought for distinction and praise by outward observance of external rites and by outward forms of piety. We just saw that. And such as ceremonial washings, fastings, prayers, and almsgiving. So they were out to keep that show going. We absolutely still seeing this today. And we still see this today, more in Christianity. Well, in Christianity, definitely, we even see it amongst the Israelite community. Things that are done for show, but other things are being done behind the scenes. And in addition to that, these things are not these people that are portraying the leadership, or people that are portraying that they're living according to the law, statutes, and commandments, or living according to the Bible. They are not. They're living according to traditions of men, just like the Pharisees did. They prided them, fastings, prayers, and almsgiving, and comparatively negligent of genuine piety. They prided themselves on their fancied good works. They want to tell everybody they're doing the good stuff, but they're not doing good according to the Most High. They held strenuously to a belief in the existence of good and evil angels, and to the expectation of a Messiah. So they knew about the prophecies and that there was a Messiah coming. That was good. Yet they rejected Messiah when he was actually here. And they cherished the hope that the dead, after a preliminary experience either of reward or of penalty in Hades, would be recalled to life by him and be requited, each according to his individual deeds. Some merit to that. In opposition to the usurped dominion of the Herods and the rule of the Romans, they stoutly upheld the theocracy in their country's cause and possessed great influence with the common people. They were the religious leadership of the day, just as basically Christianity is in many places these days. In some places you have Islam, but they're basically the religious rulers of the day, the Pharisees. According to Josephus, who was a historian, an Israelite historian, according to Josephus, they numbered more than 6,000. He was a contemporary of Yahushua. He lived at the same time Yahushua did. They were bitter enemies of Yahushua and his cause. The Pharisees were bitter enemies of Yahushua and his cause, and were in turn severely rebuked by him for their avarice, ambition, hollow reliance on outward works, and affection of piety in order to gain popularity. So they were not about the Most High, they were about themselves. So, and Judah Nick was right. No, it's not good to be a Pharisee. They thought that they were doing good, just like Paul did, but no, it's not. They were not going according to the word of the Most High. So let's look at Sadducees, it means the righteous. It's supposed to be what it means. It says the Sadducees, a religious party, also some people might say a sect, at the time, a religious party at the time of Christ among the Jews, who denied that the oral law was a revelation of Yah to the Israelites. So that's prophecy. And who deemed the written law alone to be obligatory on the nation as the divine authority. They denied following the doctrines, these doctrines: resurrection of the body, immortality of the soul, existence of spirits and angels, divine predestination, and affirmed free will. So they believed, supposedly, basically believed in the Torah, the first 5 books. They didn't believe so much in the prophets, and they came up with some old other stuff that they believed in. Again, they did not believe the whole of the law, statutes, and commandments, and the prophets. So they were off. So again, we had these two. So yep, Judah Nick. So is it good to be a Pharisee, Judah Nick?
No.
Is it good to be a Sadducee?
No.
There you go, brother. Absolutely. It's not good to be either one of them jokers. It's not a good thing. So hopefully we all understand that. But Paul saw both of them in the audience, and he was like, let me pit these jokers against themselves. He's a master tactician. So let's get back to
you'd be a great lawyer, man.
Huh?
You'd be a great lawyer.
Paul is running his own show, and he is literally fighting for his life up in that camp. So he's like, yeah, let me try to do some wheeling and dealing up in here. All right. So we shouldn't be either one of them, because neither one of them are going completely according to the word of the Most High and the prophets. So let's go to 9, and we're going to read a little bit.
Acts 23:9. And there arose a great cry, and the scribes that were of the Pharisees' part arose and strove, saying, We find no evil in this man, but if a spirit or angel has spoken to him, let us not fight against Yahweh.
All right, so they're like, no, okay, all right, well, we're not against them, but hold up, maybe if there's a spirit or an angel that talked to him, let's consider what's going on for real. So again, they're basically trying to hold on. That statement is less about Paul and is more about their belief as a Pharisee, meaning they believe in spirits, whereas the Sadducees don't. So this is more of a stance on being a Pharisee. That's what that statement is. They definitely are not trying to defend Paul because they're trying to kill him. So they're really just standing up for their belief system, basically. Maybe a spirit or an angel has spoken to him. Let's not fight against Yah, if that's what's happened. Let's go to 10.
And when there arose a great dissension, the chief captain, fearing lest Paul should have been pulled in pieces of them, commanded the soldiers to go down and to take him by force from among them and to bring him into the castle.
So he's like, look, man, these jokers, they getting pretty riled up. Let's go get Paul. Otherwise, they might go ahead and pull him apart and kill him. All right, 23:11.
Acts 23:11. And the night following, Yah stood by him and said, Be of good cheer, Paul, for as thou hast testified of me in Jerusalem, so must thou bear witness also at Rome.
So, do we think that Paul is experiencing something fun right now?
No.
Absolutely not. This brother's look, he's in court, and not the judge, the people in the court, the jury, they down with killing him. they down with killing him, but they have to go through a due process. Otherwise, they kill him. But we do have the the chief chief, what do they call it, the chief captain, remember, is was a little taken aback because he understands that Paul is a Roman citizen, so he does not want to do anything against Paul because he knows it is basically illegal for a Roman to kill a Roman or to mistreat a Roman. So he doesn't want to do that. So that's why he's like, man, let me pull out of here. He's basically trying to save himself by saving Paul. That's what he was doing. With that situation. Let's see here. I think I was about to say something. Oh yeah, so that's what it was. So in this situation, he has an appearance from. It says the night following, the Lord stood by him. So basically, he got an appearance from the Lord, or an angel of the Lord is really what it was. Saying, "Be of good cheer." So even though he's going through these things, he's saying, "Be of good cheer." In other words, you're doing the right thing, but I'm gonna need you. But you're gonna have to do this again. So this is just letting us know how this walk is. For thou hast testified of me in Jerusalem, but you're also gonna have to bear witness of me also in Rome. So again, this is just letting us know this whole adage where we get, "Hey, how you doing today? I'm blessed and highly favored," like all smiles. That ain't. If you need to read the Bible, or some ain't right. I mean, again, it doesn't mean that we don't have great times. That's absolutely not true. Are we blessed and highly favored? Yes. However, there's a fake disposition. Man, I just thought about it first. I'm like, I'm not gonna put the dude on blast because it's ridiculous. I don't even want to give him any time. It's just dumb. But be real. Just be real with your experience. I mean, look, sometimes you're up, sometimes you're down. I mean, and I know, I believe it's Paul or Peter speaks of that in another letter. Sometimes you're brought to a lower state. Sometimes you things are going well for you, but you need to be comfortable regardless. That's the way that this walk is. And sometimes it can get really low and really tough, and you feel alone and everything else. And sometimes even your own brethren or your own sisters turn against you. So it's not a comfortable walk. However, what matters is you staying true to your commitment to this relationship. Remember, this is a marriage. So staying true to the commitment to Yah and Yahweh Shai through the challenges, through the good times and through the bad times. And I had to say through the good times because sometimes when it's going good, what I need a Bible for? I must be doing something, or I'm not even thinking about them because everything is going well. So it's like, so you leave, the word alone. You're not even paying attention to it, but it's, when things go bad, oh, Jesus. I love you so much. That's where you want to talk to him. Yahweh Shai. Oh, Messiah. You know what I'm saying? That's where you want to talk to him. But no, this thing needs to be just like we want him to be consistent in our lives. We need to be consistent in our walk. So he's giving Paul a little reminder about that. Be joyful, brother. Be joyful. You're gonna have to testify about me in Rome as well. All right, let me share it back again.
I was laughing, but that was very true. That was very, very true.
Yeah, man, it's real. It's real. It goes down. 23 and 12. And Young D, if you need a little break or whatever, just let us know, bro. So,
I'm good. I'm straight. Acts 23 and 12. And when it was day, certain of the Jews banded together and bound themselves under a curse, saying that they would neither eat nor drink till they had killed Paul.
Sometimes your brothers will go against you. Sometimes your brothers will get. Now that's serious. Like they like, look, I'm about to fast. They're not fasting for righteousness. They're like, I'm not eating or drinking until this dude is dead. Problems, man. Problems. These are the Jews. These are his people. These are our people. Wicked. All right, go ahead.
And they were more than 40 which had made this conspiracy.
Mm-hmm.
And they came to the chief priests and elders and said, We have bound ourselves under a great curse that we will eat nothing until we have slain Paul.
So they're not even shy about it. look, this is when you know your spiritual leadership is corrupt. When you like, look, I know we still in trial, but just to let you know, we all decided that we not eating or drinking until we kill this dude. We just let you know. We just let you know we about this murder life.
Bro, this sounds so crazy when you read it slow, bro. Like the first time, yeah, like it's like the first time you read this, you never picked up on this, but when you read it slow, it just gets crazier, bro. Like what?
It's crazy, man. This is crazy. And they have a problem. Why? Because Paul, just as Yahushua was going against what their current religious beliefs are, which again is traditions of men and being pious in front of people and stuff like that. It's not even what the scriptures say. It's not even, it's an oral tradition. We know some other people that end with ish that depend on that oral tradition. All right. False in their enemies. You know what I'm saying?
That's good.
It's true, dog. All right, let's see here. There's so much evidence everywhere. All right, so we're at 15. I think we were at 15. We have bound ourselves under a great curse that we will eat nothing until we have slain Paul. So they're like, we're going to curse ourselves if we eat or drink something before killing them. We're going to curse. We're going to do something to ourselves. That's how bad we want this dude dead. You know. 15.
Okay. Now, therefore, you with the council signify to the chief captain that he bring him down unto you tomorrow, as though ye would inquire something more perfectly concerning him, and we, or ever he come near and ready to kill him.
They're like, all right, preacher. So what we want you to do is we want you to tell the police that we need to talk to him about something and just ask him some more questions and ask him to bring Paul down here. And when he does that, we're going to kill him. Okay? We're going to kill him. That's what they just said. That is what they just said. That's this. We're going to set a trap for him. We need to inquire something more perfectly. We need some more information concerning him. And whenever he come near, and we're going to be ready to kill him. 16.
And when Paul's sister's son heard of their lying in wait, he went and entered into the castle and told Paul.
Let's give it up for the nephews. You know what I'm saying? Let's give it up for the nephews. Paul's nephew came through. You know what I mean? Paul's sister's son. He came through. He spied him out.
Also, he just followed the law by doing that because he warned his brother. Exactly. So for those who don't know, if you didn't read the Old Testament, that little young nephew is actually keeping the law in the old Torah. So if y'all didn't know, y'all would have just been like, oh, he just looking out for him. Nope, he was actually following scripture.
Absolutely, man. He's doing his thing, man. So again, he's trying to abide by what we're supposed to abide by. And literally, these are the enemies that, these are most of these Jews were the brothers. Some people got put into the land. I believe we see some of that in the apocryphal books where people were brought into the land. So there's like a mixed situation going on, but there are certainly plenty of our people that are in this charge against Paul right now. Let's get back to it, but yeah, that's a good point, Judah. All right, 17. Yeah, 17.
Then Paul called one of the centurions to him and said, "Bring this young man unto the chief captain, for he had a certain thing to tell him."
All right, so Paul's like, all right, take my nephew to the chief captain so that he can tell him what's about to go down. All right, 18.
So he took him and brought him to the chief captain and said, "Paul the prisoner called me unto him and prayed me to bring this young man unto thee, who had something to say unto thee." Then the chief captain took him by the hand and went with him aside privately and asked him, "What is that thou hast to tell me?"
20.
And he said, "The Jews have agreed to desire thee, and that thou wouldest bring down Paul tomorrow into the council, as though they would inquire somewhat of him more perfectly. But do not thou yield unto them, for there lie in wait for him of them more than 40 men, which have bound themselves with an oath that they will neither eat nor drink till they have killed him. And now are they ready, looking for a promise from thee."
Yeah, man, they got it out for him really bad. All right, 22.
So the chief captain then let the young man depart and charged him, "See thou tell no man that thou hast shewed these things to me."
What does it mean when it says he charged him? What does it mean when? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Made him promise.
Yes, right. Make a promise. Same thing as when I think it's Yahweh Shah said, "Keep my charge. Keep do what I told you to do." You know, exactly. All right. So I just wanted to, and I'm just saying these things so we can get used to the language, the biblical language, because it shows up in other areas, and this helps us to just understand what's going on. All right. He didn't charge him with a crime, just in case somebody might have been thinking that. All right. Let's go to 23.
And he called unto him two centurions, saying, "Make ready 200 soldiers to go to Caesarea."
Yeah, Caesarea.
Caesarea, and horsemen 70, and spearmen 200 at the third hour of the night.
All right, so he got a little he knew, first of all, he's about to fight a band of 40 angry and hungry people. You know, so he's getting prepared. He's like, let me go and get this little small army together, little small police force to go in and get Paul. You know, like, so he's actually, even though so this is how you know things are being led by the Most High and all of this stuff. How all of these little inner workings are, and it happens in many of our lives as well. Like how did he just, you know, how did this happen in my life? Where he's setting things up, playing these little chess pieces all over the place in our lives, so that miraculously, always at the right time. Maybe not at the time that we want. You know, we're he gets us to the next level or rescues us from, you know, something or some trouble that, you know, we got into or we may have even gotten ourselves into. But we know that the Most High is at work with this stuff. Yahweh Shai is orchestrating things. All right. But yeah, so he got his military together because he knew that there was some little riot that was basically some ruckus and the riotous behavior that was being planned. All right. 24.
And provide them beasts that they may set Paul on and bring him safe unto Felix the governor.
All right, so they're gonna get him a little donkey or something to ride, a little horse or something, so they can take him to the governor. Again, which is, you know, a higher court basically.
And he wrote a letter after this manner. Claudius Lysias, or I don't know, unto the most excellent governor Felix sendeth greeting.
So Claudius Lysias is that's the chief captain's name. Now we know his name, Claudius Lysias. 27.
This man was taken of the Jews and should have been killed of them. Then came I with an army and rescued him, having understood that he was a Roman.
What's going on?
He's a damn liar. Man, I like the way that was written. I ain't gonna lie, that was slick. That was slick.
Everybody's gaming, man.
Right. Yo, these guys are smart. Like, I just recruit Paul, man. They was gonna jump him.
right. You know. So remember, he at the end of the last chapter, he when he found out that you know, they were beating on him a little bit, and were about to beat him worse. But then Paul let him know that he was a Roman citizen, and so Claudius Lysias got shook when he heard about that, because Claudius Lysias was not a natural born Roman. He was someone that I don't know if he was brought there as a captive or what, but he had to basically buy his freedom, and he had to either work a lot in order to get to that position that he's in right now. Because he said he had to, I forgot what the term was, but basically he had to buy himself. He had to, I forgot what it said, but anyway, he wasn't a natural born. Does not appear to have been a natural born Roman. So to do something against a Roman citizen, because Paul was a natural born Roman citizen, even though his nationality was Israelite, but he was born in Rome, so he was a Roman citizen. That it shook Claudius Lysias, because again, he doesn't want to get in trouble. So Judah Nick picked it up. This guy is gaming. He's gaming right now, so he's trying to make this thing sound very advantageous for himself. Like, I would never hurt a Roman citizen. You know what I'm saying? I would never. Look, I saw one of our citizens, one of our whole citizens, who was in trouble, and I was like, let me go get this guy. This guy. I know he's righteous because he's a Roman. So you saw what was going on, huh, Judah?
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's absolutely crazy, man. When I would have known the cause wherefore they accused him, I brought him forth into their council. So again, he's I think it was up here. The man, this man was taken of the Jews and should have been killed of them. Then came I with an army, and I rescued him, having understood that he was a Roman. You know what I mean? So I mean, they off the hook. I guess I read 28 already. And when I would have known the cause wherefore they accused him, I brought him forth into their council, whom I perceived to be accused of questions of their law. Again, we have Israelite law and we have Roman law, two different things. But to have nothing laid to his charge worthy of death or of bonds. And when it was told me how the Jews laid wait for the man, I sent straight away to thee and gave commandment to his accusers also to say before thee what they had against him. Farewell. So he's trying to make sure that he doesn't get in trouble. So he's doing everything to try to, make him, again, gaming, basically. So he seems like he's been on the right foot the entire time. You know what I mean? All right, we're going to go to 31 as soon as I get my share button pushed. But we see there's a lot of strategy being done here. 23 and 31.
Then the soldiers, as it was commanded them, took Paul and brought him by night to Antipatris.
There you go. Mm-hmm.
On the morrow, they left the horsemen to go with him and return to the castle.
Mm-hmm.
Who, when they came to Caesarea and delivered the epistle
mm-hmm.
to the governor, presented Paul also before him.
Mm-hmm.
And when the governor had read the letter, he asked of what province he was, and when he understood that he was of
Cilicia.
Mm-hmm.
I will hear thee, said he, when thine accusers are also come. And he commanded him to be kept in Herod's judgment hall.
So that's the end of 23. We're gonna go to 24. So that letter. So he sent. He basically sent it to someone that escalated. He sent Paul and delivered him with that letter full of game over to the I forgot, Felix, was it? In order to get Paul out of the hands of those Jews that were laying in wait to kill him. So it's on to the next. So what the guy that got the letter did was was command him basically to go be held in jail some more, until the accusers are going to come, because everything has to be, it's literally a court. This is a court. It's a lawsuit. So this is criminal court. All right, so we're going to push forward to 24. You want to read, Judah Nick?
Okay.
All right, let's 24 and 1.
Acts 24:1. And after 5 days, Ananias, a high priest, descended with the elders and with a certain orator named Tertullus, who informed the governor against Paul. And when he
So yeah, I mean, now you got it right. So Ananias, again, that's the high priest that at the beginning of chapter 23, that was the one that told somebody to smack Paul as soon as he started, smack him in his mouth as soon as he started talking. So this is that corrupt high priest, and this time he brought him an orator, someone that's going to sound real good, in front of the court, basically, someone that's going to present very well. So he's trying to really get his points expressed very well and eloquently, we'll just say. So that's what Tertullus is there for. All right, okay, 24:2.
And when he had called forth, Tertullus began to accuse him, saying, "Seeing that by thee we enjoy great quietness, and that very worthy deeds are done unto this nation by thy providence."
Yeah, so they basically sucking up to the Romans right now. Like, we enjoy, because of you, we enjoy quietness, and you're doing all of these great things to our nation because of your providence. This is so he's opening up eloquently, kissing a little brown nosing. In order to, again, he's trying to win his case, we'll just say. All right, 24:3.
We accept it always and in all places, most noble Felix, with all thankfulness. Wait, isn't Felix the governor?
Yeah.
Oh man, this man, I know what she's about to say now.
Yeah, so they're in court now. He's trying to win that case, so he's rubbing it on thick,
That's crazy. All right, verse 4. Notwithstanding that I be not further tedious unto thee, I pray thee that thou would hear us of thy clemency a few words. We have found this man a pestilent fellow and a mover of sedition among all the Jews throughout the world, and a ringleader of the sect of the Nazarenes.
Ringleader of the sect of the Nazarenes. So these are some of the charges that they're accusing Paul of. Again, another a Jew, their literal brethren, and they're accusing them. So what is a Nazarene? What is a Nazarene? Anybody know what that is? Let's check it out. Nazarene. And again, it's good to look up words that we don't know so we can get some better understanding. And it's not that the Blue Letter Bible or the which this is just going to the Strong's dictionary. This is what these are definitions of. This is Strong's Concordance, number G3480. So this dictionary that we're seeing on this Blue Letter Bible site is just giving you Strong's Concordance.
Strong's G3480, Nazorias.
So that's what it means when it says Strong's. This is the Strong's Concordance, which not everything is 100% corrected here, but it definitely gives us a better idea. So we can read some of these things. Of Nazareth, this is how this Greek word, which is G3480, Nazarias, which you just read. Sometimes it's shown as of Nazareth. Sometimes it's shown as Nazarene. A Nazarite equals one that's separated. That's what it's saying. An inhabitant of Nazareth. Yahushua HaMashiach of Nazareth. A title given to Yahushua in the New Testament. He's a Nazarite or a Nazarene. Anyway, Nazarite is actually, there's a Nazarite vow. That's something else. And this is more so what they're talking about right now. It says a name given to Christians by the Jews. Now, this is not Christians meaning someone that's following Christianity. This is Christians meaning someone that's following Christ or someone that's following the Messiah. So that was a name that the Jews, which again, as I mentioned, when we went over the definition for the Pharisees, these Jews were against Yahushua. They were against him. Even though they understood that there was a Messiah coming, they didn't believe him. They just thought he was some kook out of nowhere, the carpenter's son, that was coming to ruin their order. So they absolutely wanted to kill him, just like they want to kill Paul and anyone else that goes against their order. So Christian, which is really what it's supposed to be, is someone that follows Christ or follows Yahushua. Christianity, the religion as we know it today, does not follow Yahushua. So that's why I'm making the distinction. So when it says that a Nazarene or is a name given to Christians, given to Christians by Jews, this Christian in this sense means someone that's actually following the teachings of Yahushua, which his teachings were pertaining to the law, statutes, and commandments, and the prophets, as well as believing on him as the Messiah. That's his teachings. Not that the law is done away with. None of this stuff that Christianity, not the going celebrating Christmas and celebrating Easter and all these different holidays that the Christian church professes and teaching is, and so many other off things. There's all they I would say they're even more off than the Pharisees and the Sadducees. It's corrupt, just like we are reading about some of these other people. So these are not the Christians. So these Christians are not Christianity people. Excuse me. Just wanted to clarify that. But we definitely saw a whole lot of sucking up from Tertullus in his greeting. Again, he's trying to win that case. He's trying to, rub him the right way. All right, so we just saw him hurl a whole lot of accusations at him. For we have found this man as a pestilent fellow and a mover of sedition among all the Jews. So he's basically trying to start controversy and trying to start trouble amongst the Jews throughout the world, and a ringleader of the sect of the Nazarenes. So they're making it clear that they don't agree with Yahushua, and say that he's even a ringleader of those that do follow Yahushua. All right, let's do 6.
Acts 24 verse 6. Who also have gone about to profane the temple, whom we took and would have judged according to our law.
All right, so again, so that's an additional charge or additional accusation, that he profaned the temple. So they're constantly trying to figure out, okay, what is the problem that y'all have with Paul? What is the problem that y'all have with him? So that's what I have to try to bring these things up over and over again, because every time they go before a judge or whoever's supposed to be presiding over the matter, they're like, there's no proof. They can't find anything, so they have to keep on trying to bring up charges over and over and over and over again. These accusations over and over again, and try to explain it over and over again. So that's what I got Tertullus. Maybe he could, he speaks a whole lot better, more eloquently than us. Maybe he can explain it and make Felix understand better than we were able to make the other guy understand. All right, the chief captain. All right, so it says, this is why they wanted to judge him according to our law or the Torah. 24:7.
But the chief captain Messias came upon us, and with great violence took him away out of our hands.
That was his rescue mission that he wrote that letter about. I rescued this Roman citizen.
Commanding his accusers to come unto thee by examination, of whom thou mayest take knowledge of all these things, wherefore we accused him. And the Jews also assented, saying that these things were so.
So after Tertullus said his spiel, all of the Jews in the background agreed with him. Yeah, that's right. All of that type stuff in the background. All right, 24:10. We're going to hear what Paul has to say, how he's going to respond to this. All right, go ahead.
Then Paul, after that the governor had beckoned unto him to speak, answered, For as much as I know that thou hast been of many years a judge unto this nation, I do the more cheerfully answer for myself. Because that thou mayest understand that there are yet but 12 days since I went up to Jerusalem for to worship. And they neither found me in the temple disputing with any man, neither raising up the people, neither in the synagogues nor in the city. Neither can they prove the things wherefore they now accuse me.
So he's like, look, man, I've only been here for 12 days, and no one can say that they saw me in the temple or synagogue, in the temple disputing with anybody. They can't say that I was raising up any trouble. I haven't even been in some of these synagogues nor in the city, and they can't prove any of these things that they're accusing me of. There's no proof of these things that they're saying. All right, 14.
But this I confess unto thee, after the way which for heresy, so worship I the God of my fathers, believing all things which are written in the law and in the prophets.
All right, so what is Paul saying here? What did he just say? Because this is major. What did he just say? Let's read that one more time, Judah.
So slow. So am I reading it verbatim, or do you want me to?
Yeah, read the whole thing.
Okay. But this I confess unto thee, that after the way which they call heresy, so worship I the God of my fathers, believing all things which are written in the law and in the prophets.
So that's a major statement that a lot of folks that call themselves Christians don't even realize he just said. So we'll start with what does he mean when he's referring to heresy? He believes after the way which they call heresy. What is he referring to there? What do we think? Oops.
So Paul's saying they believe he's following a lie.
They call it right, like meaning that they call it heresy, but he's saying I follow this thing that they are calling heresy. So what is this thing that they are calling heresy that he says he's following?
Yahushua?
Absolutely. So this thing that they say that they're calling heresy, following after the coming Messiah, the Messiah that did come, I do believe that, and I do worship after that. And what does he say furthermore after that? That, if you talk to a lot of different people, they'll say that he doesn't believe these things. It says, so worship I the God of my fathers, believing all things. Let me slow this down. Believing all things which are written in the law and in the prophets. So this is the Old Testament, ladies and gentlemen, which is the only testament there is at this point. This is the scriptures that they have. Is no New Testament, because he was the one that wrote many of the letters. The only scriptures that they have are what you guys, or what is called the Old Testament. They're not old, meaning that they're done away with. They're just called Old Testament, but these are the scriptures. The Torah and the prophets. This is what he's referring to. This is, at this point, this is pretty much all that Israel knows outside of these traditions that people have made up, that the Pharisees came up with, and that these Sadducees have and these different sects of people have come up with their own traditions, and then sometimes bled in the things that are from these other nations and are leading Israelites astray. But in terms of the actual commands and things that we're supposed to do from the Most High, that is the Torah and the prophets, which we would call the Old Testament these days. So this is what Paul says he believes in. And he also says he believes in Yahushua. That never changes. He never changes that. So regardless of what Christianity teaches people, we hear what Paul said out of his own mouth, what he reported out of his own mouth, what he says he believes and what he follows. So this is why we have to read the word for ourselves and not just believe what somebody tells us, because you're going to be led down a trip to hell. Judah?
Body to show thyself approved is what scripture said. Eventually, and always listen to someone, you got to read it yourself.
Absolutely.
Or however seem fit, but at least learn it for yourself.
Absolutely. You got to put that study in. You have to. Otherwise, you're really just left with believing. If you don't read for yourself, not just read, but if you don't study for yourself, the only thing that you're left with is trying to find people that you like and that you want to believe, and just believing what they say, but never proving what they say. You're only believing the people that you like, or that you believe are and that you believe are viable people. But it's a lot of people that you might believe, or that can sell themselves real well, but they will lead you down a path to nothingness. So that's why we have to get it from the actual scriptures. And we see right here, let me read it one more time. But this I confess unto thee, that after the way, and again, another thing that's called the way is the law, statutes, and commandments, and following after Yahushua. After the way which they call heresy, so worship I, the God of my fathers. That's the way I worship the Elohim of my fathers, which is Yah. Believing all things which are written in the law and in the prophets, and have hope toward Elohim, which they themselves also allow, that there shall be a resurrection of the dead, both of the just and the unjust. So again, he was a Pharisee, and the Pharisees believe in the resurrection of the dead. So he's saying, I also believe in the resurrection of the dead. And again, that's also in the prophets. It's in there. So that's not anything that's against what the word says. That's also in the prophets. So he just admitted that he believes and he follows the law, statutes, and commandments, and he also believes in Yahushua. This is what Awakened Israel teaches. This is what Israelites, for the most part, teach. The same thing that Paul teaches, which lets you know that what Christianity is teaching is not what Paul teaches. They're teaching lies. What we're reading is the scriptures, what the Bible records historically, and what is being professed and what is being taught. All right. Let's go to 16.
And herein do I exercise myself to have always a conscience void of offense toward God and
So just real quick, herein I do exercise myself. This is saying I do these laws, statutes, and commandments. I don't just think about them. I don't just believe. I do it. I exercise myself. I do these things the way I say I worship, and the way and what I believe in. I do these things. I don't just believe it and think that that's it. No, you don't find that in the Bible. If you let's say if you find a statement, that statement, there are always witnesses. You have to have context. I mean, just like if let me see here. I can't find it right now. But just like if you see something that says all things, all things is usually in a context of whatever they're talking about at the time. It doesn't mean every single thing in the world or every single thing that was written or whatever the case is. There's always context. And a lot of times, especially in the New Testament, what people do, they don't even know what the context is because they're not very knowledgeable about the what's written in the so-called Old Testament. So they create a context that certain religions have given them, and this is why they're off. This is why I was off, because I am formally a Christian. I was in Christianity, and when I actually started studying for myself, this is when I saw that, hold up, something is not right. They're not saying what the Bible says. And I said, you know what? I need to do what the Bible says. And the more I studied, the more I saw that I was in error, and because of who I was following. So I stopped following them, and I started following Yahushua, the Most High, and understanding who I am and what they tell us to do. All right. So should all of us, and continue to try to get rid of the error that we've been taught in that we believe. Now, there's still things that we may believe, because we're ever in a state of correction, and you need to stay open to correction, myself included. I don't have everything right. I'm still learning. I'm still in the perfecting process. And we all need to be humble enough to be able to say that, and to seek after righteousness, and to seek after what our Savior has told us and what He has recorded, not just in the New Testament letters, but in the law, statutes, and commandments, which is what He gave the Israelites in the first place. It is all Him. It's all Him. All right. Let me see. Where were we? Got lost again, Judah Nick. Okay, I think we're right here. 17. Thank you, sir.
After many years, I came to bring alms to my nation and offerings.
So now he's just about to tell describe what he's been going through over the last several years. All right, go ahead.
Upon certain Jews from Asia found me purified in the temple, neither with multitude nor with tumult. Who ought to have been here before thee and object if they had fought against me.
So he's like, hold. So these people. So he's saying, where certain Jews from Asia found me purified in the temple, neither with multitude nor with tumult. I wasn't causing any trouble. And he's saying, who ought to be here if they had some kind of ought against me? In other words, where they at? where are these false accusers? Where are they? That's what he's saying. All right, 20.
Acts 24:20, or else let these same here say, if they have counsel found any evil doing in me, which I stood before the council.
Where's their proof?
Except it be for this one voice that I cried standing among them, touching the resurrection of the dead, I am called in question by you today.
Yeah, kind of. So the only thing that they agree with is the whole resurrection of the dead, but everything else they have questions about, and this is the reason why they're coming at me. All right, 22.
When Felix heard these things, having more perfect knowledge of that way, he deferred them and said, when Lysias, the chief captain, shall come down, I will know the utmost of your matter.
He's like, man, hold up, man. Y'all are saying this or saying that. Y'all saying two different things. Let me talk to the captain of the police and see what he has to say about all this. That's what's going on. All right. 23.
And he commanded a centurion to keep Paul and to let him have liberty. He should forbid none of his acquaintance to minister or come unto him.
All right. So basically lock him back up, but give him some freedom. You watch over him, but give him some freedom, and don't forbid any of his friends to come and serve him or minister or help him out or anything like that. And this is how the New Testament letters were written and delivered, because he still had his friends and his people that were working with him to come and talk to him and record the things that he was saying and deliver these letters to these different congregations around the world. So this is when he was locked up, and this is what was going on. Does that make sense? All right, let's do 24 and 24.
After certain days, when Felix came with his wife Celia, which was a Jewess, sent for Paul and heard him concerning the faith in Christ. And as he reasoned of righteousness, temperance, and judgment to come, Felix trembled and answered, go thy way, for this time, when I have a convenient season, I will go for thee.
So remember up here, it said that, Felix, and when Felix heard these things, having more perfect knowledge of that way. So Felix, which I'm assuming is not an Israelite, because it knows that his wife is a Jewess, or she's a female Jew, a female of the house of Judah. But because he's a governor, he knows the ways of the Jews, because he is the one that has to. He's the governor. He has to lead over their matters and preside over their matters and disputes. So he knows what how things are in their nation. So he has some understanding. He also is aware of Yahushua and what Yahushua meant and who he's supposed to be. So when Paul is talking to him about everything, and and as it says, and as he reasoned with righteousness, temperance, and the judgment, as he reasoned of righteousness, temperance, and the judgment to come, Felix trembled. So he started hearing that stuff. He's like, hold up, man, is this real? Like, I know it's supposed to be real, but the more in depth you hear about the details, Felix started to get shook a little bit. And he answered, go thy way for this time. When I have a convenient season, I'll come, I'll call you. I'll call you. All right, 26.
He hoped also that money should have been given him of Paul, that he might loose him, wherefore he sent him for the oftener communed with him. So
Felix still a devil. So just because he got a little scared, he's still a devil, meaning that what he was really trying to do was trying to get some money out of Paul for talking to him. It seemed like he's reasonable. He's really trying to get paid for Paul to loose him or to let him out of prison. So that's why it says, wherefore he sent for him often and communed with him. This is where he sent for Paul to come see me often, because he's expecting that Paul is going to try to pay him off to let him out of jail. 27.
After 2 years, Porcius Festus came into Felix's room, and Felix, willing to show the Jews a pleasure, left bound.
So Paul was locked up for at least 2 years. So again, during that time, do we understand how many of these New Testament epistles were written? This is because he's still orchestrating things while he's behind bars, let's just say. So he's still he has his people, his followers that are coming to him and reporting things from around the world in terms of what's going on with these different congregations. So then he's writing letters or dictating, and someone else is writing these letters to go and take back to these different congregations in different places. This is how we get, Romans and Thessalonians, if I'm saying the books that he actually wrote. All of these different letters that he wrote, these are letters. These are just letters to try to orchestrate, how to handle this division of Israel, this division over here, this congregation over here. He's handling these different things, so it's almost like getting a letter from headquarters or something like that, almost, to deal with different matters that he's hearing in these different congregations. All right. So that's the end of 24. We're going to see if we can go through 25 a little bit. All right. So let's hit 25. All right. So that's, again, how we know, this is when many of these New Testament epistles were written. Let's go 25 and 1. Oops.
And now when Festus was come into the province after 3 days, he ascended with Lycia to Jerusalem.
Mm-hmm.
Then the high priest and the chief of the Jews informed him against Paul and besought him.
So here we go again, with some more people with the accusations against Paul.
And desired favor against him, that he would send for him to Jerusalem, laying wait in the way to kill him. Right.
So after at least 2 years,
still trying to kill him.
They still trying to kill him, man.
How he hurt y'all that bad, bro?
He's interrupting their whole order. So during all of this time, again, he's writing these letters, and he still has followers. The disciples and Yahweh Shai, and of course Paul, still had an impact around the world. So we still have a lot of Israelites that are coming to the truth. The Gentile Israelites are coming to the truth and changing their ways. As they change their ways, they're leaving the church. We see that right now. So they're leaving the church. What do they call these? The donations of tithes are going away. The seats are emptying out a little bit. They're getting dissension within their churches, their organization. The religious order is shook. The religious order of the day is shook. Go ahead, Judah.
Kind of like today, really, because Israel's technically waking up and the world's slowly but surely crumbling because of it.
Acts is a picture of what is going on right now.
Literally.
Acts is a picture of what's going on right now. That's why we wanted to slow walk it, so we can live. That's why, as we're going through this thing, we can recognize so many things that are going on in the book of Acts today, because it's happening right now. As Israel, the true bloodline Israelites, are waking up and leaving their old lives and leaving the things that we were taught, the traditions of men, and waking up to who we truly are and worshiping and doing as we were commanded to do. Things are changing, and it's going to change the whole world. And this is so just like they're trying to kill Paul. This is why they're such a violent, at this point verbally violent, but it's prophesied it's going to get physically violent against Israelites, because if we go back, it's the same story over and over and over again. Abraham was prophesied to Nimrod, that there's a child that's going to be born that's going to overthrow your kingdom, and his descendants are going to basically change everything, and they're going to be the ones that are in control. Nimrod was the king of Babylon, so Nimrod tried to kill Abraham. Same thing happened to Yahushua. Same thing happened to Moses, where they were killing all of the Hebrew baby boys. Because why? Because they feared that Israel was going to get too large and then they were going to team up with another nation and overthrow Egypt. So it's the same thing over and over again. They are afraid that their rulership is going to come to an end, because that's what the prophecy says, and it says it again. So this is why we have a whole lot of lies that are being professed throughout the world. That's why whenever there's a little bit of a movement, there's going to be a lot of money put into another movement to try to squash, any little movement that's coming. So this is why we'll get these little agents that are coming out and become popular because they're funded. They'll become popular and be put in front of these different audiences, and their videos are played while other videos are stopped, while other videos are being held, and not, even though you have more than 30,000 views, you get 100 views. Why? Subscribers, you get 100 views. Why? Because certain organizations and agendas are putting stops to different things. And if you look around, you'll see that in many different places. That's why some people are leaving different platforms, because we know these platforms are corrupt. So we see that. So the establishment is falling. When we see, even though what we're looking at in Acts, our people are involved in that establishment. That is in Jerusalem, as these Jews that want to kill Paul, and the same ones that killed Yahushua, they're under Roman occupation, so they're corrupt, and they were corrupted before, because they were going after other nations. They're just corrupt. So we still have brothers and sisters that are corrupt. However, we have this awakening that's going on, and it's going to continue, and it's going to continue to grow, and that's why they're terrified. This is why when Kanye said something, there was a big old uproar, and they defame his name and everything like that. When Kyrie Irving said something, they tried to shut it down. They wouldn't even say the title of the book. They tried to shut everything down and try to make him seem crazy and everything like that. This is the fear that they have. This is the fear of the coming king that they have, and the king's people. So folks, this is real, and we're seeing it in the book. We're seeing it in the book of Acts, and it's going on again. And we're going to keep on going until we get to the book of Revelations and all of these things that were prophesied, and we're seeing these things play out. So we need to be on the right side of the board. We need to be on the right side of the board, and with the rightful king, and that's not the kings of the earth right now. If that's who you with, too bad. When you have an opportunity to come to, the right side, you still have an opportunity. If you die, too bad. Meaning if you die before you make that decision, too bad. If any of us die before making that decision, too bad. There's no such thing as once saved, always saved, because nobody's saved yet. That's not in the scriptures. That's another pharisaical belief that's been put forth. You always come to the rescue, brother. You know what I'm saying? I would have been stuck there for another 5 to 10 minutes trying to figure out what the word to say. But anyway, let me stop going on a tangent so we can actually try to get through this. Let me see here. Of course, I forgot where we are again, brother.
You can pass it. Verse 4.
Yeah, I think you're right. 4. Yes, sir. 4.
But Festus answered that Paul should be kept at Caesarea, Caesarea, and that he himself would depart shortly thither. Let them therefore, said he, which among you are able, go down with me, and accuse this man if there be any wickedness in him.
So they still, again, this is years and years and years, but again, their king, their little rulership or their leadership is continuously crumbling little by little, and they can see it. There's a disturbance in the air. All right, so they're still trying to accuse him, and really what they want is to kill him. And you see the same conspiracy going on when Yahushua was walking the earth, and the high priests and the leadership and the Pharisees were part of that too. All right, let's 25 and 6.
And when he had tarried among them more than 10 days, went down unto Caesarea, and the next day, sitting on the judgment seat, commanded Paul to be brought. And
hang on. Oops. Crazy mouse dog. I think I'm right here. 7.
And when he and when he was come, the Jews which came down from Jerusalem stood round about and laid many and grievous complaints against Paul, which they could not prove.
So they go again. Karens, the Karens are our own people with the false accusations. Man, this is something that has plagued our people, and it's even from our people. You know, it's a daggone shame. Yeah, Judah Nick.
So they couldn't prove anything before he went into jail, but you're telling me while he was in jail for 2 years he did something? How that makes sense?
It's the same thing. It's the same thing, and they still got them locked up, and they're still trying to get that same thing. Again, no justice, brothers. It's like the justice system is corrupt. You know, is that something we can relate to today?
Very, very.
Are people locked up unjustly today? Absolutely. So it's the same thing. And we still have more accusations coming out even after they're locked up. That stuff happens, man. And we see again, it like you just brought out, Judah Nick. Same thing was happening to our brother Paul. He ain't the first and he ain't the last. It's still going on today. Okay, 25 and 8.
While he answered for himself, neither against the laws of the Jews, neither against the temple, nor yet against Caesar have I offended anything at all.
Yeah, so this is in court with Festus presiding over it in the judgment seat. So this is Festus again. I believe it's Festus. In the judgment seat. So this is another trial. And Paul is like, look, he answered for himself. So this is Paul again. Neither against the law of the Jews, so neither against the temple, nor yet against Caesar have I offended anything at all. So Paul out of his own mouth is saying, I never did anything against the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Jews. Yes, same thing as Moses' law, same thing as God's law, same thing as Yahushua's law. It's all the same because they've created so many. All right, let me not go down that wormhole again. This is ridiculous. It's a bunch of ridiculousness. 25 and 9.
But Festus, willing to do the Jews a pleasure, answered Paul and said, wilt thou go up to Jerusalem and there be judged of these things before me?
So remember, and that was actually Felix that was trying to get paid, I believe. But Festus is now the one that's presiding. And again, you know how there are like sometimes you have governments that are friends with each other, or companies that are friends with each other, or corrupt parties that are friends with each other in a powerful position. So this is what it means when he says he was willing to do the Jews a good pleasure. So he's trying to get them caught up. Like, so let's see what he says. The Paul is like, willing to do them, do the Jews a pleasure. He said, "Hey, Paul, why don't you go up to Jerusalem and be judged there? Since you're innocent, why don't you go up to Jerusalem and get judged? I'm sure you didn't do anything, so you should be fine." But he knows what that means because he already knows that they're trying to kill him. 25 and 10.
Then said Paul, I stand at Caesar's judgment seat, where I ought to be judged. To the Jews have I done no wrong, as thou very well knowest.
All right, so again, this is Paul leaning on the fact that he is a Roman citizen, so that's what Caesar's judgment is. That's the Roman law, because he's already like, look, I haven't broke any of the Israelite laws. I haven't broke any of the Torah, so I don't need to go there. So now, let's see. I'm here in Caesar's judgment seat. Let's see if I broke any of Rome's laws. So again, he affirms, I'm where I need to be. This is where I need to be judged. To the Jews, I have done no wrong, and you know very well that I haven't done anything wrong. So Paul, he's very strategic with his. 11.
For if I be an offender or have committed anything worthy of death, I refuse not to die. But if there be none of these things wherefore they accuse me, no man may deliver me unto them. I appeal unto Caesar.
Yep. So he's again dealing with his Roman citizenship. Look, if I'm guilty, kill me. I'm cool with it. If I did something against the law of my fathers, kill me. But if I didn't, which nobody can prove that I did anything, then I'm not going anywhere. And if you want to, no, I'm a Roman citizen. I appeal further up the ladder, because like you lose a court case and then you make an appeal, and then you to try to get to a higher court. That's why he's like, I appeal to Caesar. If I'm not going to get justice here, I appeal to the next court up. So that's what that is. I appeal unto Caesar. So he's, like you said earlier, Judah, he's a lawyer for himself. He's defending himself legally. 25 and 12.
Then Festus, when he had conferred with the council, answered, As thou appealed unto Caesar shalt thou go.
Okay, so since you pull out the trump card, you're going to appeal to Caesar, fine, you get to go to Caesar. So that's basically going to Supreme Court right now. That's the highest court of the land. Well, I think the highest court of the land, certainly higher than where they are right now. 25 and 13.
And after certain days, King Agrippa and Bernice came unto Caesar to salute Festus. And when they had been there many days, Festus declared Paul's cause unto the king, saying, There is a certain man left in bounds by Felix.
So he's still locked up. After all of this time, he's still locked up.
About whom, when I was at Jerusalem, the chief priest and the elders of the Jews informed me, desiring to have judgment against him.
Yeah, and so all of this stuff. Remember, the Romans they never brought any charges against him. This is all Jews bringing charges against and trying to kill Paul. This is all them doing that. All right, 25 and 16.
To whom I answered, it is not the matter of the Romans to deliver any man to die.
It's not the manner of the Romans. Like, in other words, that's not what we do with our law. We don't deliver people over to death. That's what he's saying. That's what he's saying. He's telling to King Agrippa.
Before that, he which is accused have the accusers face to face, and have license to answer for himself concerning the crime laid against him.
Yeah, he's like, nah, we don't just deliver somebody because you say you want them delivered to you. Nah, they need to face their accusers. They need their day in court where their accusers can come and say and talk about with those accusations, and so whoever's being accused can defend themselves against the crime that they're being accused of. He's like, that's the way that we do it over in Rome. So do we also see what you know, what rule we're under right now? Is that supposed to be? Isn't that the model of our court system that we live in the Western world?
Yeah.
We go to court. There's a judge, somebody in a judgment seat. That's not the same way it was in Jerusalem. You know, that wasn't the same way. You needed witnesses and blah blah blah. It was different. So we see again. This lets us know again we're still under that Roman rule. That's the last beast, the fourth beast. All right, let's get back here. And the reason why Rome wants to be friendly to Jerusalem, to the leadership of Jerusalem, is because those leaders in Jerusalem are managing a Roman territory. So they want to make sure that they have people installed so they can control that area of their kingdom. So that's why they're trying to. So this is how our wicked people are joined with these other people in power, confederate against the people in general, to try to make sure that the people in power stay in power. You know, they what do they call them? I forgot what they call it, like the boule. The boule. If somebody wants to do some research on the boule, somebody wants to do some research on that tattoo that's in the middle of LeBron James' chest, do some research on that. The black boule, we'll just put it like that. All right. I know one of them just had a movie come out called The Color Purple. Anyway, y'all just do your research. Do your research. All right. You say something, Judah?
Okay, I'm get it later.
Okay. Yeah, definitely look those things up so y'all can get some insight into things that are going on in this world. What were we on, 16? Or did we read that already? No, we're on 17, I think. Yeah, we're on 17.
Okay. Acts 25 and 17. Therefore, when they come hither without any delay on the morrow, I sat on the judgment seat and commanded the men to be brought forth.
Mm-hmm.
Against whom, when the accusers stood up, they brought none accusation of such sins as I supposed.
So, like, they couldn't prove anything. Mm-hmm.
But had certain questions against him of their own superstitions, and of one Yahushua, which was dead, whom Paul affirmed to be alive.
So again, they are still having a problem with this whole situation concerning Yahushua, and Paul is standing firm, like, no, he was risen, he is alive. So again, it's about that. It's about their religious order being disrupted. All right, 20.
And because I doubted of such manner of questions, I asked him whether he would go to Jerusalem and there be judged of these matters. But when Paul had appealed to be reserved unto the hearing of Augustus, I commanded him to be kept till I might send him to Caesar. Then Agrippa said unto Festus, I would also hear the man myself tomorrow, that thou shalt hear him.
So Caesar, which is that's the true ruler, that's the real high court that Paul is appealing to. But before that, King Agrippa is like, let me hear him first. And if y'all go back and look at what happened to Yahushua, it was the same situation where you had all of these different steps, these different rulers, Pontius Pilate, and then it kept on going up, and they couldn't prove him anything wrong. There was a time where, as it was prophesied, where he was going to be silent. He didn't respond to any of the questions. Then he got put to a higher authority because they were trying to accuse him of something so that they could kill him, which eventually, that's what happened. But this is the same process. It's a Roman process. All right. Where were we at, 23, or did we read? I
think we're 23, yeah. On the morrow, when Agrippa was come, and Bernice, the great pomp, and was entered into the place of hearing, with the chief captains and principal men of the city, at Festus' commandment, Paul was brought forth. And Festus said, King Agrippa and all men which are here present with us, ye see this man about whom all the multitude of the Jews have dealt with me, both at Jerusalem and also here, crying that he ought not to live any longer.
So again, the Jews are still saying, kill this dude, man. Kill this dude. He's a problem maker. 25.
But when I found that he had committed nothing worthy of death, and that he himself have appealed to Augustus, I have determined to send him, of whom I have no certain thing to write unto my Lord, wherefore I have brought him forth before you, and specially before thee, O King Agrippa, that after examination I might have somewhat to write. For it seemeth to me unreasonable to send a prisoner and not withal to signify the crimes laid against them.
So he's like, look, I wanted to send him forward, but I don't even know what the right that his charges are. All of this time, no one can say what his charges are because nothing is being proven, and they're trying over and over and over and over again. But even the establishment is like these are false allegations. So if I'm going to make sure that we follow our Roman laws, then I need to see how this can play out in our Roman laws. But I can't find any way how I can even accuse them in our Roman court system. So they all have a problem. So they're more than happy to send it up to the next level up, so that they won't be like the chief captain was, where he was a little upset about breaking that law about how to treat a Roman citizen. So they're more than happy to send it up to the next level, as long as they go through their due diligence, so they can write a letter and tell the next level that we did all these different things, but hey, they're appealing based on our law. It keeps on appealing to go higher up. But to be honest with you, I don't have anything that I can say he's guilty of. So that's the brief. I just wanted to let you know that, King Agrippa, Caesar Augustus. So again, we see how all of this time, we have to know that this is Yahushua that's orchestrating all the stuff. But even though he's locked up, but while he's locked up and he's not, think about it, while he's locked up, he has the time where he's writing all of these so-called new letter epistles, New Testament letters and epistles that we are still using today, during this time. Same thing as when the disciple John got exiled to the island of Patmos, where he was given the revelation, which is now the book Revelation. So we have these things. So the Most High, through Yahushua, is orchestrating these things for his people. So think it not odd if we have to encounter some things that don't even make sense to us in our lives as we're trying to pursue truth. Know that when we do these things, that whether it's in this life or the next, Yahushua has us. So the reward, he's coming with his reward. So we just need to remember that, and it's easy to say it, but even through persecution and very difficult hardship, where you've not done nothing wrong, if it happened to Yahushua, what makes you think it can't happen to us? He did nothing wrong. All right. So we'll stop here, but we beat our record, man. We did three chapters, right? 23, 24, 25.
2 minutes.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. So we traveled down the road a little bit, but yeah, false accusations and of Paul in court. But again, we see that he continuously says that he keeps the law, statutes, and commandments, and he believes in Yahushua and everything Yahushua stood for. And Yahushua stood for the law, statutes, and commandments. He is the word is the covenant, the word is the law, statutes, and commandments. I am the truth, I am the way, I am the life. Yahushua said there are different scriptures that say thy law is truth. Thy law is the way, thy law is life. It doesn't say specifically like that except for the first one, but it says the law in these different things. And Yahushua says the same thing about himself. I am the way, the truth, and the life. It's the same thing. So if you try to take out and say that the law is done away with, you are saying that you are doing away with Yahweh Shah or Christ, and you're going to be stricken for that. So I would suggest that you don't do it. I would suggest that you do as Judah Nick said, and study to show thyself approved so you can come to the light. All right. So with that said, I guess we'll go ahead and say a prayer. Thank you, Father, again for just giving us your word and giving us these different examples, things that we can relate to that are happening right now, things that are going to happen in the future. Your word is for us to learn, and you gave us all of these different examples so we understand what can happen, what does happen, and what people have gone through before, and how they dealt with these different situations. Because some of us will have to go through some of these things that some of our forefathers and foremothers have gone through. Most importantly, we thank you for you and providing a way, because we know that this is all for the betterment and for the eternal salvation of your family of Israel. So we truly appreciate you, but we still don't appreciate you enough, because we don't even have an idea of what you have in store for us, Father. That's how great your blessings are. Too many times we stay stuck on what we don't have, instead of looking forward to what you have for us. So let us concentrate on that. Let us concentrate on the things on your promises, Father. And let us concentrate on being obedient to you and to our King. Please continue to waken up your family and those that will choose to follow you with all of their heart. In Yahweh Shah's name, we do pray. Hallelujah. All right, man. Well, until next time. Hey, like and subscribe. I said it good that time, right?
You did. It was clean.
At that time, man.
It was clean.
Like and subscribe to Awaken Israel DMV. We got over 1,000 videos trying to inform our people and whoever wants to know. All right. So with that, we'll say Shalom.
Oh, also share the video with someone who you think it may benefit, but just be careful because it may have backlash if they really watch it. Right. But yeah,
you might have some questions asked after they take a look at it, just because it upsets the order. But we are teaching what the word says, and if this is what you say, if you say you believe in the word, then hopefully your mind will be open, and the Most High can open up your understanding, so you'll see what His word is all about. We don't have a reason to lie. All right. Hey, thanks for that, Judah Nick. All right. Well, hey, shalom, everybody. Love you all.
Joel 3:16. The Lord also shall roar out of Zion, and utter his voice from Jerusalem, and the heavens and the earth shall shake. But the Lord will be the hope of his people, and the strength of the children of Israel.